sarcastically speaking. He has a gun, honey. Excuse me.
You saw him with a gun?
Yes, I did. And y'all need to get over here. What the hell is y'all doing? We done called 500 times.
Can you finish giving me the description? What color is the Infinity?
It's blue.
Black. The blue, okay.
It's black. I'm sorry, it's black, girl. I'm half blind, senile, and girl, yeah.
Okay, the guy with the gun, black, white, or Hispanic, what race?
He black. He's a nigga.
Okay.
Y'all should fly over here now. You say what?
How many vehicles did he hit on the block?
He hit 1, 2, 3. He hit 4.
Okay, about 4, okay.
Yes.
What he's wearing, what color clothing?
He has a yellow shirt, True Religion, Nike shorts, no drawers, baby. And I got the evidence. Girl, he was high as 2 sissies in a bird stew, honey.
All right, we're going to get a car over there.
A car, baby. You need to send a motherfucking police station.
What color are the shorts?
They great, honey. What you want me to send you a goddamn text message?
Well, if you go into somebody with a gun, you want to know what they look like too, right?
Girl, listen. Liz, can I have to tell you something? Oh, the bitch.
Get up. It's time for a night with New. Man, I stole my car. God damn. Hey, boy, like, what's going on with you? Like, still know I'm new. With her fingers deep off in her jeans. And we had to yank my wig off and threw it across the room, y'all. I need your help. Stop all that running. Like, yeah, you on the rest, y'all. Like, pick the fellas up. So, like a dog, I let him drive my car. God damn. It was tearing me up in front of my homegirl. I know that right. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite new girl in the weather, and you are watching Nights with New podcast, where it'll be all right by the end of the night. We're going to get into what's new. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, it's getting spooky out here. This is something that has been going on. It's been time for a long time for a lot of us to deconstruct Christianity and do what you can to get out of this religious psychosis that a lot of us in, these religion delusions. You are in the Black community, you are very well aware of who the Wine family is. Marvin Wine is going viral right now for a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons is because he had publicly accosted this woman for coming to sow a seed in front of the congregation. He wanted $2,000 seeds. She came with $1,200 some odd dollars. He was like, that's not what I asked you to do.
Hey, Roberta McCoy, giving faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
There's a lot of Christians who are taking up for him, saying that the video was out of context. Even with the full context of the video, it still was egregious. The full context of the video was he pretty much separated everybody into groups. So like if you gave $1,000, come here, give him this line. If you gave $2,000, give him this line. If you gave $500, give him this line. If you gave $1 million, give him this line, if that makes sense. I'm assuming that she was in the $2,000 line when she should have been in the $1,000 line.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that, so I was calling them by increments. And we had someone that had given out of before, and I corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call, and that's all that was.
Because she only gave $1,200. Mind you, only $1,200 is a lot of money. Really humiliated that lady. And instead of her taking that check and turning around and leaving, she chose to stand there and apologize and then say, I'm going to work on the $800.
I'm going to work on the other $800.
Lady, you don't work enough, baby girl. I promise you that. And then what hurt my heart even more is the fact that she had a young child standing right next to her while she did that. I don't know if that young child was her son, her grandson, her nephew, or whatever the case might be. But the thing about it is, that is something that is going to stick with him for the rest of his life. You're going to be on your knees in your room crying and wondering where you went wrong and why your baby no longer follows Christ or whatever the case. This is why. Things like this runs people away from the church. And then to make matters worse, the congregation, y'all laughed at that lady.
That ain't what I asked you to do.
What is wrong with y'all? Why are y'all in there sniggling and giggling about it? What? It's already crazy enough that she went up there and had to announce how much she was giving in the first place. If I can't put my piece of money in an envelope and slide it over to you, if I can't get a collection plate and put my little change on there and pass it on to the next person, things like this is part of the reason why people no longer want to be a part of the church. Y'all.
You're the woman in that viral video.
Right.
He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction, because let me clearly state that Pastor gave instruction on the lines to get into.
Roberta told me Pastor Winans personally apologized to her. She's been a member of Perfecting Church since 2013 and has given faithfully over the years and will continue to do so.
Delusional. What do you mean? I don't care how you spent it, twisted it, reversed it, or anything like that. If it was about order, if it was about to keep confusion down and stuff like that, y'all could have given by roles. But to call people out to go into certain lines based off the amount that they were going to be giving you is egregious. That shit's crazy to me. Then to have to sit there and publicly announce how much they gave, please. And I hate that her judgment is so clouded. One thing that I noticed about a lot of Christians is y'all lack discernment. Pastor Winans also is in the middle of a lawsuit because apparently he has been building a church, I think, since 2003, and here we are almost at the cusp of 2026, and the church is still yet to open up. The city of Detroit won't answer.
Well, we did sue because we said this continues to be a nuisance which has to be abated.
The lawsuit filed last week, the city demanding the court take jurisdiction over the case involving this unfinished church at 7 Mile and Woodward, the future home of Perfecting Church, a church that has been under construction for decades after plans to build at this site were announced in 2003 by Bishop Winans.
They have not taken out a building permit to do any work on that church since 2018. We want a receiver to come in, take control of the project, and help us bring this thing to a close.
The city says it's still waiting to receive a detailed status building report from the church, which was due 2 weeks ago. Fox 2 reached out to Bishop Winans, and we received a statement which reads in part, "We believed we are up to date in addressing all matters of concern posed by the city. We are shocked and extremely disappointed that the city would take this course of action in the dark of the night and, in our opinion, not acting in good faith." The church has 3 weeks to respond to the lawsuit.
There's something wrong with this. Does God have a timetable? Hell no.
And the sad part about that whole situation is the fact that his members ain't even the ones suing him. It's the city doing it. Y'all wake up. Religious psychosis involves hallucinations, delusions with religious themes. Symptoms can include disorganized thoughts and significant behavior changes. Religious delusion is defined as the delusion or fixed belief not amenable to change in light of conflicting evidence involving religious themes or subject matter. Religious faith, meanwhile, is defined as the confidence or trust in a person or thing or belief that is not based on proof. Psychologists, scientists, and philosophers have debated that the distinction between the two is subjective and cultural, of course.
I'm gonna give you the mic, bro. You ready? It's either yes or no, bro. What else you gotta say? Yeah. Oh!
Girl, this lady done got down on one knee, had the bottle girls come out with this sign that say, "Will you marry me?" on it. He sees it, turns around, see her on one knee. She gets the ring, puts it on his finger. Y'all, look at this man's facial expression. He is rolling his eyes. He looks so shocked, ashamed, and embarrassed. First of all. Second of all, that boy don't want to marry you, child. Obviously, grabbed his hand to put the ring on, and he turned his hand every which way to keep her from doing it at first, and then he went on and did it. And I can tell, did it out of compliance. It wasn't, he doesn't want the ring. He also didn't want you to propose. Girl, get up. Ladies, I'm not a fan of double standards at all. I do feel like what's good for the goose is also good for the gander. And there's no limitations to what you can do in this world, however, comma. As for me, Nunu, you will never see me get on one knee and ask a man to marry me. That is something that I want. I would love to be somebody's wife. I would love to carry a man's last name. I would love to start. I do. That's something that I desire. However, comma, if it gets to a point to where I feel like I'm begging for that to happen, to where I want to get on my own knee and propose to a man, I'm leaving. That's just me. What are y'all? What are y'all thoughts on that? Have y'all ever shot at somebody and stuff like that before? I've shot shots at men to a certain degree before, but not like that. If I want your attention, I'll look at you, I'll stare at you, I'll smile, I'll wave. That's just going to initiate him to be able to come and approach me. I still am not the approacher. I don't know, y'all. Ladies, what y'all feel about that? Also, any fellas that's watching the show, how do you feel about it? Do you mind being proposed to? Your girl wants to propose to you. You know, would you accept it or would you feel some type of way, whatever the case? Like, let me know. Me, it's a no. In Cadova, Alabama, there was a police chief who really just got the damn job. He just got the promotion. Had to resign after they got camera footage of him sexually harassing this 18-year-old dispatcher at the job. This man walked up to her while she's sitting there. He's brushing his yay up against her shoulder. He's rubbing his hands through her hair and stuff like that. She was terrified, scared to say something because, of course, he's in a position of power over her. She was afraid to say something, but when she finally did, so far all they've done was force him to resign. There's not even any word on if any charges are being filed against him and stuff like that. Lock that man up. Things like this happen all the time. Thank God that girl finally caught the courage to be able to come and say something. It's a lot of people who are in those situations where it's them against a person of power and they're scared to lose their job. They're scared to have their livelihood stripped away from them and they don't say nothing. Lock them up. Resignation is not enough.
My daughter's finna be 15.
Can you buy my son the bed too?
Your son is only 7 years old. What's wrong with the bed that he has?
You want him to be that bed bogus? He been had that bed since he was living with his mama. You acting petty as fuck
I'm
right
acting
now.
petty.
You finna buy your daughter a whole new bed just for what though? And like
because we're moving into a new house. This is gonna be my daughter's first bed.
It's bed bugs all in them beds and everything.
Now it's
and
bed bugs.
Now
it's bed bugs in the bed. Since when it was bed bugs in the bed?
You just got your insurance claim and you can't buy him a new fucking bed so he could be sleeping comfortable.
Your son is not my son.
You just told my son that he was throwing his bed away.
I never said that. So he can't keep his box frame? Why your son can't? I will buy him a new mattress, but why he can't keep his box frame? You think I'm gonna buy a 7-year-old a bed like this? I'm not doing it.
He gonna have it for the rest of his life.
No, I'm not doing it. My daughter finna be 15.
What's wrong with this one? She can't. No, it's not a perfect
She gets her big girl room, so my daughter's gonna get this whole setup.
So my son just gotta sleep on the floor. You just told me that
It's not even about where your son have to sleep at. He can keep his. You're trying to make it seem like he can't have his body. You want him to have a headboard. He doesn't need a headboard. He's 7 years old. He won't forget.
This is how I feel about these. I think they both wrong, but they also are both right at the same time. I agree with the mama on the fact that if my baby's 15 years old, she needs an updated bed. That's what we're going to do. I also do agree with the daddy on if the baby do got bed bugs, he needs a new bed as well. Him being 7 is irrelevant. But the way she was speaking, she was saying it like, oh, now he got bed bugs. Like that might not really be true. He might just be saying that for the sake of. So I don't know. What I don't like is the fact that y'all two are a couple. He was talking about, but that's your baby. That's your child. I'm finna get my child something. If y'all are going to be in a relationship with each other and y'all both came with outside children and y'all are blending y'all's family, I don't like that your baby, you do for your child, I'm gonna do for him. I don't like that dynamic personally. Maybe I'm not the one that's equipped enough to speak on that because obviously I'm single with no kids. Secondly, it also seemed like he counting her pockets too. He said that she just came into some money and you don't want to spend no money on my son. I didn't like the tone of it. Like I said, I didn't like it on both. I didn't like everything that was being said on both sides. But the thing about it to me, it sounds like they're divided anyway. If they're looking at stuff as your kid, my kid, you know, y'all don't need to be together no way. But the girl pregnant, so I'm going to assume that that's their baby. I don't like that type of stuff because a lot of the time that's when the other child from the outside of the relationship starts to become neglected when they finally share a child together. So I don't be liking it. Now it's time to be honest. So based off of what we already started talking about, my question is, what is something that happens in your life that strengthened your faith or diminished your faith? I was a very inquisitive child. I'm not going to go into too many details on this. I will talk about this with y'all on Patreon. But the biggest thing for me was I struggled with two things. I always had trouble breathing, and I always had issues with my identity as a child. I was raised to think that that's wrong and it's an abomination and I'm hellbound and, you know, things like that. So I didn't want to be that way. And so one of the main things I did was pray. I did everything that I thought and that I was told that God would want or would be pleasing to God in order for him to help me be able to breathe better and also take this desire or this, basically I used to say purify my heart, uncorrupt my mind, you know, get these thoughts out of my mind. Why do I feel the way that I feel, this, that, and the third? And here I am now, I'm still like this. And I still can't breathe. That is one thing that started diminishing my faith. With everything that we do know historically that the envelopians done to us as a people, it's hard for me to believe that they slid a book in our hand, told us to read it and learn it. This is the key to eternal life. You're going to live in paradise and stuff. ... with us, question mark. Or ... with them. I never believed it even as a child. I just don't believe that a paper plate will slide you a book that's going to give you the key to spend the rest of eternity with them when they have shown here on earth how much they detest us. It don't make sense to me. That's another thing that diminished my faith. And a lot of other things too. If y'all want to, like I said, if y'all would like to indulge on that or talk about it even more, you know, we can on Patreon. Time for what had happened. Y'all already know the drill. If you had a what had happened story, be sure to email me at nightswithnew@gmail.com. That is NIGHTSWITHNUE@gmail.com, and make sure that you keep your email short, sweet, and to the point. 2 paragraphs is enough so that it can be featured on the next show. I used to be very, very dutiful at church. Like, I was in the choir. I was raised non-denominational. I grew up Baptist up until I was like 11 or 12, and then my mama converted over to like a non-denominational type of church. At least they said it was non-denominational. But they spoke in tongues. They were very radical. We pretty much went to church all the time. Sundays, Saturdays, revivals, Bible studies, choir practice, leadership meetings, whatever. Like it's like we lived at that church for the most part. Long story short, I don't know what her issue was. To this day, I've never found out what this was about. But one day she decided to tell my mama. I see a lot of myself in my mama. And I do think that my mama was going through at the time some delusions as well. And I believe that she really looked up to the people of the church and stuff like that. And so it's basically like it was a situation where they did no wrong, they said no wrong, you know, things like that. And so one day, one of the members of the church decided to come and tell my mama about me and my sister. Told our mama how we were evil and she's afraid of us, and I threatened her one time, like she's scared, she doesn't come and hug on us because we evil and demonic. And one day at church when she came to hug me, I pulled a knife out on her and just a bunch of foolishness. I don't know where any of that stuff came from. I wasn't even a blade carrying type of person. I really think that she stereotyped me, to be fair. I've always been artistic. I've always outwardly expressive as a child and stuff like that. And she just didn't like it. She said something to my mom about it. I also feel like because of that, she had an issue with the fact that I was in the choir and stuff like that, I believe. And so she said that about me. She said a couple of things about my sister. And it hurt me. It hurt me because my mama looked at us, looked at the lady and was like, and told her that she believed her. I feel like when it comes to certain stuff, you know your children. The things that the lady said about me, you should, as my mama, should know what I'm capable of. Like that was so far out of my character, especially at the time. And it hurt me so bad. I cried about it. Long story short, I ended up quitting the choir. And I really haven't turned back since, you know. But that was like, I might have been about 14 or 15 years old when that happened. I didn't fully like leave the church though until I was like maybe 18 or 19. At the time, it was because I was working a lot. I was always working on Sundays and stuff like that. But I always made sure I pulled out my 10%. I would give it to my sister or give it to my mama to give to the church, stuff like that, even though I had to work. And then, you know, I started walking into womanhood at 20 or 21. And, you know, of course, I was... Anyway, but that's all I got for y'all tonight, okay? Good night. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Be sure to thumbs up this video, comment, and also subscribe. Patreon shout out for the week goes to Miss Malika. Thank you so much. You were very, very active this week, and I really appreciate you for that. See y'all next time.